What do we have for Libra, please? Page of Cups, water energy at the foundation of the reading. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? Knight of Wands in reverse at the sacral. And then what do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? Queen of Wands at the solar plexus. Okay, so I've been getting this message surrounding the Libra collective where you're in this season of your life where you're beginning to see some sort of growth. Even for those of you that aren't fully in that active part of this energy that I'm feeling yet, you're seeing the potential for growth. You're seeing some sort of opportunity presenting itself on the horizon line, so to speak. And what this is actually doing in and around your world, your reality, your environment, is showing you energies that quite possibly made it difficult for you to get to this space. Simply put, it's to say that success is exposing that which may have always been holding you back, that you weren't able to see until you begin having the success, until you began getting the vision clearly that this is the direction you need to go. Now, this can obviously show up as people, but it can also be mindsets, behavioral patterns, a story you tell yourself, right? As human beings, we sure do have a lot of stories that we tell ourselves from the moment we wake up every single day, all those voices inside our head, which leads me to something else I was picking up in your energy intuitively before the reading. And it's that some of you may have actually found this clarity by going into a sort of hermit mode. And for those of you that may not know the actual definition for going into a hermit mode in the tarot, it's really just a space of being alone. And it's a space of introspection, solitude. And this allows you to really hear what's going on, right? You know, a lot of the times this internal dialogue that we're hearing, it's not even ours. It's just stuff that we pick up in our environment. So hermit mode is absolutely crucial if you want to have any sort of real spiritual evolution in your life. Now, the Page of Cups at the foundation is really speaking about this introspective space that I'm picking up here, because the Page of Cups can be a very intuitive energy, and I feel that a lot of you have a newfound sense of intuition ever since you have been practicing some of these things that we're outlining here, or this is what you're being called to do, again, depending on where you're at on the timeline. You're all going to be different. The Knight of Wands is a very passionate, very creative, very driven sort of energy, and given the fact it's at the sacral, which is the fire in your belly, it's showing us that there was some sort of disruption there. Now, this Knight of Wands is in reverse, and I feel that this is some sort of opposing energy that you may have been dealing with in your environment. This is an energy that can cause a lot of delays in your life. It's very reckless. It's the kind of energy that we have all dealt with at some points in our life that can really drain you and leave you with absolutely nothing left to pour back into yourself. So this can be speaking about environments that a lot of you are in where it's impossible to create anything because there's so much chaos, so much disruption around you that there's no time to fully catch your breath and or really focus on what it is you're being guided to focus on. Now, I just heard the devil. Oh, God, that just came through so clearly. Okay, so that came through because they want all of you to understand that anything that is working against you and your purpose here can be seen as a kind of devil energy. Now, the devil energy doesn't have to be as extreme as it sounds, right? It's really just anything that's in direct opposition with your destiny. It could be small, it could be big, but really when it comes down to how the divine sees these energies, it's all the same, because if it's standing in your way of fulfilling your purpose, it doesn't matter what size it is. Now, the Queen of Wands at the solar plexus here is telling us that you have everything you need to get the show on the road here. This Queen of Wands is showing an individual looking like they're directing a movie, right? And the Queen of Wands, by definition, is an energy of self-mastery. So it's like this is representing your movie, right? All of us are really living inside our own movie. And this is why reality TV and all of these things became very popular, because it's real life. It's actually something that's happening. And the reason why they want me to give that example is so you can understand the importance of your own life, your own story, what it is you have to offer. A lot of you out there have been made to feel like what you have isn't that significant in the grand scheme of things. But that right there is telling me that it actually is. Whenever you have this sort of feeling overwhelming you that tells you or wants to program into you that what you're doing just isn't really that significant, or nobody cares about what you do, or you don't matter, all these sorts of things, if you have an internal dialogue that tells you anything even remotely close to those sorts of things, then this is telling me that your purpose here is actually a lot greater than you have been led to think, because a lot of effort has gone into trying to tell you the opposite. Now, just take a moment to think about that. Why would anyone, anything, whether it's spiritual in nature or a living, breathing human, want you to think that what you have inside of you won't matter? Why would anybody go out of their way to make you feel that you don't matter? They would only do that if they have something to lose by you stepping out into the world and showing everybody what it is you have. And it doesn't have to be literal, right? You going out and becoming famous or something like that. This isn't really what we're talking about. It's more just positioning yourself to do what you came here to do. And by way of the natural laws of evolution, you place yourself in a space that you were always meant to be in, which ripples out into the rest of the collective and creates an influence, sometimes quietly. It doesn't need to be announced. And when you begin to walk in an energy of purpose, when you have that unwavering internal dialogue that is in support of your divine mission here, succeeding in silence becomes more and more attractive. I feel that a lot of you reached a point in your life where you just wanted to show people that you could do something, that you were worthy, that you were capable, that you had something special. But what you're starting to find is, as you align with this path, you don't even care anymore. And that's all a part of your own evolution. You realize that you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. All you have to do is become who you were always meant to be inside this life cycle and align with your divine mission. And that, in and of itself, becomes a deafening silence. The loudness of your purpose can be seen in the silence of those who tried to make you think differently. What do we have at the heart position, please, Spirit? 6 of Swords, Aquarius energy at the heart. Okay, perfect. Now, the 6 of Swords is an energy that speaks about your rite of passage. It speaks about you transitioning on from a certain space. And I feel for you, it's a space where you weren't supported. Yeah, I just heard this is necessary to be able to align with this mission that we're picking up here, right? You can't convince people otherwise. Typically, what you need to do is just go it alone, right? You can't expect people to understand the path that you're being guided to walk when they haven't been down it themselves. And I always say that they don't need to necessarily support you if they don't understand it. That's okay. But what I'm getting here for all of you is that you've had people trying to stand in your way. So they may not have been down that path, but something inside of them tells them that if you were to walk down said path, this would not be good for them. And I feel that this is where we're at now. And the reason why it's not good for them is because, like we mentioned at the very beginning, it brings exposure to the energies around you that were never really for you. So we've just gone full circle here. So your movement forward, again, exposes the energies that were always trying to hold you back from this space, which now makes it easier for you to release said energies. And I feel that the whole underlying message here is one that is really trying to get you to accept this, right? A lot of you have been in these spaces where you've been trying to change something, maybe the way people interface with you, but really all you've been doing is changing yourself, and I'm getting disruptions in the throat chakra right now, changing yourself to fit into a space that was never for you. And the disruption in the throat immediately pulled through a message of that would see you not living in your truth, altering your truth to fit an idea of what they want for you. And I feel a lot of you were doing this without even being consciously aware of it. It's like being born into an environment and you naturally fit into these sorts of dynamics. And it takes growing up and evolving as an individual to finally reach a point on your path and look back and say, what? That is way off. That's not actually very supportive at all. nobody really reaches that space until you're a bit older. It takes life experience and getting some wisdom under your belt to have something to compare it to, right? And it doesn't matter how old you are, this happens when it's supposed to. It happens, well, the awakening happens, right? When the divine needs it to happen. So the divine could keep you in these spaces for an extended period of time without you being consciously aware of what's going on. And then all of a sudden, one day, you just have some sort of epiphany. You can't really put it into words, but you're just starting to re-examine your life and where you're at in that moment. And it's like you've had these downloads, these ideas come through to you, and you're just starting to see things in a way that you hadn't before. And there's no telling when that can happen. There is an energy that I feel is quite, it feels ancient. It feels like it's been there for a long time. And this can really speak about generational conditioning that a lot of you are breaking out of right now. These sorts of narratives that I'm picking up in this reading are always going to have some sort of generational conditioning attached to it, right? The learned behavioral patterns, the mindsets, the things that were programmed into us without our say-so, before we were even, again, consciously aware of it. But you have been chosen for something here, and it's quite a lot bigger than what words can even really describe, because there's many layers to this, spiritually speaking and energetically speaking. But the way it's going to show up in your everyday waking life inside the third density is you breaking out of these patterns, right? And going towards some sort of higher calling. What do we have at the throat position, please? 10 of Cups, Pisces energy at the throat. Now, the 10 of Cups from this deck is really interesting because it shows us a version of, the depiction on the regular Rider-Waite Tarot, right? The two kids, the husband and wife, and the rainbow, which is supposed to just really represent the general picture of happiness, right? Whatever that is for you. It doesn't have to be that, but whatever it is, that's what it represents. And in this depiction here, it's showing us this sort of other imagery that looks, it looks like, as soon as I see that, I think poverty, right? It feels like the complete opposite of this. And what I feel this 10 of Cups in here is representing, on one hand, the generational conditioning. This is how you need to do things. This is what's expected of you. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be people saying that to you in a literal sense. It could be the internal dialogue. This is what I expect for myself, right? And I think that we've all dealt with this at some point in time before we say, hey, does that really make me happy, right? But that's what this, on one hand, is representing. And then on the other hand, it's also representing the vision that you truly have for your life. And I feel that right now you're starting to realize that the vision that's been programmed into you, what's expected of you, is seemingly taking you further and further away from your actual vision. In fact, based on this energy here, and that's right there at the throat chakra, so again, an energy of living your truth, speaking your truth. It's like you not taking the path that you're being guided to take ends up leading you to the complete opposite of what you have been made to think it's going to lead you to. It leads you to a sense of poverty. And it doesn't have to be always material poverty, right? That's what we typically associate it with. But poverty is an energy that can impact you emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And then it can start showing up in your external environment. It's a mindset is really what it comes down to. You're at this point in your life right now where you're really being faced with two options here. You can go down the path that you think is expected of you, or you can really make something out of your life and go down the path that no one before you has ever gone down because they have been too afraid to break away from the societal conditioning that was programmed into them before they even had a say in the matter. What do we have at the third eye, please? 3 of Pentacles, Earth energy at the third eye. Now, this 3 of Pentacles here is following up what we channeled through with that 10 of Cups perfectly, because I feel that there's something new that you're going to do here, something that nobody before you has ever done before. And this may just be a seed of an idea. There's something here that's going to require some time, it's going to require some effort. And this Three of Pentacles is showing us you building something brick by brick. You know, a lot of the times when we are going down a path that sees us needing to build something with patience and dedication, that's when this outside noise can become loudest. Why are you wasting your time? What are you doing? Which takes us back to the message about needing to find yourself in that place of introspection and solitude so you can really stay focused on something here. It takes a lot of patience and dedication to build something long-lasting here, and that's exactly the opportunity that has been handed to you right now. So shutting out the noise is absolutely crucial. So whatever that means for you, wherever you are in this world and whatever it is you're surrounded by, you think about what it is you're being called to do. And then you look at the noise around you and ask yourself, do you see the two coexisting together during the building process of what you're doing here? Because this right here with this Three of Pentacles at the third eye, I don't feel is going to be something that anyone around you is going to support. But you can bet that once this is finally built, all these people are going to want to come back and share in it with you. This is the kind of thing that you are building here. And I just heard legacy. You know, when it comes to generational chain breakers, these are the people who, metaphorically speaking, break a branch off of their family tree and go and plant it somewhere else, right? Really shake things up. And every family lineage needs this. You know, we live in a reality where evolution is perpetual. It's all around us. The universe is expanding every moment, every day, from now into eternity. And we need to have that evolutionary mindset as well. And unfortunately, inside the third density, most people don't have this sort of evolutionary mindset. It's all about growth. It's all about expansion. It's all about evolution and advancement. And this is really what I'm getting here from you. That's the kind of energy you hold. You are being divinely guided to deliver something truly unique into your reality. And Spirit is saying to me that they don't want you to waste any more of your time trying to get anybody to understand. Just get to work on it. They'll get it in the end. And at that point, you won't even care anymore because they would have showed you their true colors by then. And that's what part of this is all about. You know, when you build something and then you see the way people respond to what you've built after they've created all these obstacles, it can be a real eye-opener. You start to think about how long you may have been stuck in those cycles for, and you really start to see the presence of the divine all around your life. Because then you find yourself thinking, imagine if I didn't do this. Imagine if I just stayed stuck. I would have just been another person in my family lineage lost to this generational conditioning. And I just heard those people before you in your family lineage that were called to do what you're doing and they couldn't do it. But you're different. And I just heard you have your ancestors who weren't able to see this through cheering you on from the other side. It's like the torch has been passed to you, but you're actually going to get it over the finish line. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Eight of Swords, Gemini energy at the crown. Now, this Eight of Swords here is really highlighting what I said in regards to that exposure around people who didn't support you, but then try to come back in some capacity once they actually see that what you're building is significant, right? You know, the Eight of Swords from this deck is showing us this frog that is laid out. It's dissected. It's like its insides are all exposed, right? It's like this is a metaphorical representation of these individuals. It's like they're completely exposed. You see them for who they are now. You see right through them. You see what they're made of. And they can't escape accountability, right? The frog is pinned down. It can't hop off. And you also see how these people, they're blind, right? You know, the blindfolded individuals in the tarot usually represent people that aren't using their intuition. It's like their third eye is blocked. They don't see what you see. They're not connected the way you are because they have submitted to the third density. You know, we all have to live inside this third density, inside this world, but you don't have to completely submit to it. An effective way to navigate this world is to have 1 foot in spirit and 1 foot in the material world. Perfect balance, right? Of the root chakra and the crown chakra. You can't have too much of either side here. There just needs to be that perfect balance. And that is what I'm getting here for a lot of you. Now, this takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of dedication, and it takes precision to be able to navigate your environment as such. But this is an energy where once we finally see this manifestation beginning to materialize, individuals are really going to see you in a different light. You know, I feel that they saw something inside of you. They knew that there was something special about you, but very rarely do you hear about individuals seeing a special light inside of you and then helping you nurture that, supporting you on this path, right? Especially family members. They see it, they're threatened by it, they want it for themselves. But therein lies the entire reason why you're being positioned in this space and why all this is unfolding the way it is to begin with. Because a situation where an individual sees your light and tries to nurture it is almost unheard of. You know, I'd like to think that as we make our way into the future, this will become something that we resolve. You know, people who are chain breakers and then having other children and helping them evolve and find their way, you know, who knows? But right now, the world that we live in, you're under spiritual attack. It's just the way it is. It's the path that you have all been chosen to walk. It is a war here. Yes, it's unseen for the most part. But if you rip back that veil, it's as violent as any war that you have ever seen, if not more violent. It's just a different kind of war. It's cosmic. It's spiritual, and it ripples through multiple dimensions. What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? There we go. Baphomet, right there underneath that Page of Cups, which aligns with the Magician, Reddened Shadow. Now, this Magician is further confirming everything we've been picking up here, because this is an energy of manipulation. It's also an energy that does see the light in you, but refuses to assist you in bringing this out into the world. They see it, and they want to scatter it. They want to create disruptions for you on your path. And the fact that this is the Magician here, it's telling me that these individuals, in some capacity, could help you. It's like the divine has brought people into your environment who have the resources to lift you up, to support you, but they refuse to do it because they think, because they think if they did do this, it would make them smaller than you. But whatever the case, this is a test that they're having to go through. It's like the divine gives them the tools to help you, but instead they use those tools to go against you. Yeah, I'm hearing something about resources here. I mean, the Magician is an energy that has all the elements. But again, this is the Magician red in its shadow. So it's like they have all the elements and they choose to do bad with it, right? This is like somebody who is blessed in multiple sectors of their life, and rather than doing good with it, they do evil with it. And then here you are with all these gifts, with this light inside of you, and you have a limited amount of resources to work with. But somehow you find a way. You make it work with you and you alone. You don't need anything. And that's exactly why you're going to pull this off. You're building something extraordinary with absolutely nothing. What do we have at the sacral, please? Page of Pentacles, Earth energy at the sacral. Now, the Page of Pentacles, read in its positive polarity, is the energy of manifestation. In fact, it's the first step of manifestation. But from this deck here, it's an energy that is trying to affect your focus, like we picked up, right? Trying to create disruptions in your environment. It's like they're doing things on purpose to make sure that you don't get to here. This is something that's calculated, something that's premeditated. And I'm hearing for some of you, this Page of Pentacles underneath this Knight of Wands in reverse, this is an energy that is dressed up like assistance, dressed up like support or help. But as soon as they get inside your energy, well, I just heard they pull out the wires, right? Without you looking. Yeah, I'm seeing you in my mind's eye trying to turn the ignition on a car, and the car is just not turning on. And this person is sitting in the passenger seat, and you're like, oh my God, what's going on? And they're like, oh, I don't know, the car must be broken. But a few minutes before you got in to start the car, they're ripping wires out from underneath the dash, right? It's just an analogy that they're giving me for some sort of sabotage here. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? And there it is, Five of Wands. Okay. Leo energy at the solar plexus. So Five of Wands is all about obstacles and challenges. It's an energy here that is doing things on purpose. You know, this can show up as some sort of conflict, arguments, just some sort of pushback in your environment. It feels multi-layered. And some of you have yet to see this because, yeah, I'm hearing it's coming from people that you wouldn't expect it to come from. And or you've just been in the environment so long that it's a learned behavior. It's just something that you always expect. But now the divine is trying to get you to step back and look at things from a wider perspective to see what it is you're actually dealing with. So this goes back to what we said in regards to getting to a point in your life where you start to see this generational conditioning for what it really is. And you go, whoa, I never really looked at it like that before, but there's no way I'm going to get to said vision when I'm dealing with this. Something's got to give. And what has to give is you. Right? You can't expect other people to change. And this is the point of realization that you're getting to now. You understand that. If you want this to happen, you're going to have to make a move here. What do we have at the heart, please? Okay, we're going to start on this side of the card first. Yeah, like it says right there, slavery. Okay, now this is the Eight of Wands, and it aligns with the Eight of Wands in its shadow. So this is an energy of delays. You know, and it feels like one of these energies where you're putting in so much work and something is just not moving. It's like all of your efforts are completely wasted. And this is also underneath the Six of Swords. So both of these cards represent movement in some capacity. You know, the Eight of Wands as an upright is one of the fastest moving energies in the tarot. But from this deck, it speaks about that energy in the reverse. So it's something that is being perpetually delayed. And the fact it says slavery there, I feel that this is really speaking about how these energies may perceive you, like you're beneath them or something, or you're there to serve them, which is interesting because the reality here is you're their reckoning. And they don't even realize that. Or some of them may actually start to understand that you are very much this divinely led vessel that was sent into their life to deliver them some sort of judgment by proxy without you even being fully aware of it. And then we have the Page of Wands. Now, this is very interesting because I was talking about how you were carrying the torch, and then look, right? It's like, look, there you are running with a literal torch. Like, oh my God, I got it, right? Your ancestors cheering you on, right? Oh my God, they're going to make it. They're going to cross the finish line. And it says right there, propagation of light. So this is an energy for somebody that is breaking the chains of some sort of ancient, oppressive, generational conditioning. And the Six of Swords, again, is that energy of your rite of passage. So you were chosen again for this. Right there on the bottom of this deck, the exact same card, but from a different deck. How's that for a confirmation? And it says right there, propagation of light confounds the wicked. Confounds the wicked and slanders, saves from enemies. Okay. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? The Magician. Wow. So we have the Magician twice, but these read differently. I read this as a positive polarity, so like an upright, and this is a negative polarity, so like a reversal. Now, this Magician here is you bringing the vision, your vision, to life. And the Magician, by definition, speaks about an individual that can turn their visions into reality. It's like you've realized your power, your purpose. And there's also a message here about focusing on your creativity. There's something there. It could just be your ideas. There's something, again, unique about them, which is why a lot of you could have been facing ridicule. Think about some of the most genius ideas that the world has ever seen. I bet if you dig back into the history of some of those ideas and what the people who brought those ideas to the world had to go through, it would look a whole lot like this. People not understanding, people pushing back, people trying to destroy them. Extraordinary ideas like that of what I'm picking up in this reading can truly awaken the devil in people. And then right on the bottom of the deck, there's your energy, Libra. Okay, so justice. And this justice card, we can see that justice has the blindfold on. So justice is blind. Now, what that really means is that despite who these people may be for you, right, whether they're family, friends, whatever it is, you're getting to the point where no matter who they are, it's not worth sacrificing your vision, your path, what you're meant to bring to the world. You're essentially blinding yourself to the fact that these individuals are who they are in your life. You're merely taking them on their actions towards you, and you're allowing justice to unfold organically without having any influence or saying it, because you understand now that anyone or anything that gets in your way of bringing this to the world is vibrating in that devil sort of energy. If it's in your way, it must be judged. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Perfect. All right, so I'm getting a lot of pressure in my third eye right now. We just pulled this at the third eye. So this is the Hangman Pisces energy, and this speaks about perspective. And it also says right here, desire for knowledge protects from liars, evil spells, and bad spirits. Okay, so this is, again, just further confirming everything that we've said up until this point about these opposing energies, right? You see them for who they are now. And that looks a whole lot like an angel with the judgment horn, right? You're allowing this energy to come through. You're stepping into your divine mission, and you're no longer getting in the way of judgment being unleashed in these individuals' lives, whatever that looks like. I mean, look, when it comes to karma, when it comes to people being judged, all of it is working to realign them with their path, right? To bring them back into some sort of vibrational balance, so to speak. But of course, that can be a very energetically violent space for an individual to have to go through, but it's absolutely necessary. It's the best thing that you can really do for people. It's sort of like a parent reprimanding a child, but this is the universe reprimanding a fully grown human being, right? It's the same sort of thing. There's a level of discipline that must be delivered here. Okay, what do we have at the crown to close out this reading for Libra, please, Spirit? Perfect. Wheel of Fortune, Sag energy at the crown underneath that Eight of Swords to close out the reading. It says right here, advancement and progress, teaches, guides, and records events in the book of life. The recording angel, Metatron. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is the energy of your destiny. This represents this turning point in your life that I'm picking up on. And it also represents life cycles. But this is asking you to look at the big picture vision over your life and try to understand your place in this environment you're in right now. Think big, right? Don't think small. Get out of this sort of third density thinking for this moment and think about the universe as a whole and how you show up inside of it. And I'm thinking about what I said about individuals trying to program into your mind that you're not this, you're not that, you can never accomplish this, you're not significant. Pay attention to all of that. These are all major tells, okay, that there is absolutely something extraordinary that you are destined to accomplish in this life cycle. But these energies here are what you have to face off with to be able to accomplish it. So Libra, however this is showing up in your life, I hope that I was able to deliver some deep insight for you so you can start breaking up this energy and make your way to this Wheel of Fortune energy. And with that, I will leave it here. All right, Libra, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. And I would like to know how this reading resonated with you. So drop me a heart and or a comment down below, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.